Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? I hope you're doing well. As you can see in the screen, today's lesson is adjective, noun, and adverb clause. Okay? In this lesson, I will show you some rules to distinguish between them and how to use them, and especially for is2 students in grammar 2. Okay? And I recommend the other students to watch it because it's very necessary for you as English student department. Okay, first let's know and take a look what is first a clause. What is a clause? Okay, a clause, this is the characteristics. A clause is a combination of words. Of course, there must be words and contain a verb and its subject. If we don't have a subject and if we don't have a verb, it's not a clause. Okay, so the clause combination of words contain a verb and a subject. Please understand this and remember this. Okay, subject and verb. If we don't have subject and verb, it's not a clause at all. Okay, so there are two main types of clauses. The first type and the first one is independent clause. We call it independent clause or main clause. The independent clause or main clause has a complete meaning and can stand by itself. An example: I eat an apple. I is a subject, eat is a verb. So first it's a clause. But is it a dependent or independent? It's independent. Why? Because it's complete, it has a complete meaning and can stand by itself. What do we mean by stand by itself? It can stand by itself and it doesn't need the help. It has a complete meaning and can stand by itself. If I come to you and I tell you, I eat an apple. I eat an apple. And you will tell me, yeah, that's great. You understand me because it's meaningful and it can stand by itself. But let's come here and take a look to the dependent clause. We call it dependent clause or subordinate clause. It's subordinate clause or dependent clause. It's like opposite. The opposite. It's the opposite of the previous one, of this one. It has not. Here we have it has a complete meaning, but this it has not a complete meaning. Here we have it can stand by itself, but here we have it cannot stand by itself. Okay, and always need this one. It always need this one to complete its meaning. Okay, it has not a complete meaning and it cannot stand by itself, and it always need the independent clause to form a complete and meaningful sentence. So dependent clause need the independent clause. Okay, they need it to form what? A sentence. Okay, this one is meaningless. It hasn't a complete meaning, but the independent clause, which is this one, has a complete meaning. Okay, and both of them form a subject, a sentence. Sorry, it forms a sentence because we said the dependent clause needs independent clause to complete its meaning. Here we have an example: who I met in the garden. Who I met in the garden. Here we said that if I come to you and tell you I eat an apple, it's clear, it's complete, isn't it? It's complete. But if I come and tell you who I met in the garden, and you may ask, who's that person? And here you may ask, who's that person? So if you are asking, you didn't understand. If you didn't understand, it was not complete and it has not a complete meaning and a full meaning. Okay, so this one is incomplete. We cannot understand it. It needs an independent clause. For example, I say, for example, I see the man who I met in the garden. I see the man is independent clause, and who I met in the garden, it describes which man. So it's dependent clause. Here, if we have mentioned to describe, so we are talking about the clauses we are going to deal with. So the independent clause have a subject, for example, has a subject, not have, has a subject and a verb, of course, because it's a clause and can sound by itself. And dependent clause of course, has a subject and a verb because it's a clause, and but it cannot. The difference is it cannot stand by itself. Okay, my ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's move to the noun clause. Now let's go deeper in the lesson. Noun clause. What is a noun clause? First, before talking about the noun clause, let's talk about the clauses we are going to deal with, like noun clause, adjective clause, and adverb clause. So here we have some remark you should pay attention to. You must put in your mind that all the clauses, noun clause, adjective clause, and adverb clause are all dependent. What does mean dependent? They are in need. They all incomplete and meaningless and they cannot stand by themselves. So it needs independent clauses. So the noun, adjective, and adverb clause are dependent clauses. They are all in need to an independent one to complete their meaning, because as we know, they are incomplete. The dependent clauses are incomplete. Okay, now let's move and see some characteristics of the noun clause. It's common to find that the noun clause, here we have the characteristic, the first characteristic of how to distinguish, how to make the difference between the noun, adjective, and adverb clause. Pay attention, because this is the main point here you should get. It's common to find that the noun clause, or the noun clauses in general, the noun clause usually begin with one of the following words. It begins with whom, what, which, that, when, who, how, where, whenever, however, whomever, whether, and so on and so forth sometimes. Okay, so if you find a clause start with those words, it means that it may be a noun clause. Okay, so to omit this maybe and be sure 100%, let's know one other characteristic. Okay, which is the first characteristic. The example of this characteristic is this one: whoever cut the tree. Whoever cut the tree is responsible for is not a responsible person. Okay, here it's a clause because we have the subject and the verb. Okay, and it has start with this one, however, so it may be it has one characteristic of noun clause. Okay, so to be sure, let's complete the characteristics to be sure if it's a noun clause. Okay, the second characteristic, this one, is a noun clause can always be replaced by a noun. You got it? That even we said that a clause, for example this one, we can delete it, we can omit it and replace it only with one noun, not an adjective, not adverb, one noun. Okay, for example, in this case we have seen what you said was awful. What does he say? For example, he said a joke, he said a lecture, he said, for example, a story. Okay, so here we have an example of lecture. We can delete this, what you said. It's a clause because we have you and said. They are verb and subject, so it's a clause, and it starts with what here, like we have here. So it starts with a what. But the second characteristic, can we delete this here like that? Delete it and omit it and replace it with only one word. For example, the lecture was awful. What you said was awful, the lecture was awful. They are the same, so here we can say that it's a noun clause. Here we have however, it starts with however. Great, the first characteristic. and it has a subject and a verb, great, it's a clause. But can we omit it? Can we delete it and replace it with something, with one noun? Yeah, we can do. We can say Ahmed, for example. Ahmed is not a responsible person. So this one also is a noun clause. Okay? Noun clause start with those words and must contain a subject and a verb to say that it's a clause, and we can omit it and delete it, the whole clause, place it and put the noun, one noun instead of it. Okay. Adjective clause. Okay, adjective clause. What do you know about adjectives? I am happy. Muhammad is happy. Who is happy? It's Muhammad. I like the ball. For example, I like the sport in which the players run. I love the sport in which players run. Which sport? It gives us the details that the sport which the players run. But for anyway, now is it a dependent clause or independent clause? The adjective clause, is it dependent or independent clause? Give you 5 seconds to answer. Okay, it's a dependent clause. Why? We said noun clause, adjective clause, and adverb clause. They are all dependent. Put it in your mind and never ever forget it. Okay? Noun clause, adverb clause, and adjective clause all are independent clause. Are dependent clauses. Sorry. Exactly, it's a dependent clause as well. Now before we know the adjective clauses, let's know the adjectives. Okay? But let's talk about adjectives and adjective clauses in general because they have the same function. Adjectives or adjective clauses function is to describe. Please, this is the main function and all you need to remember. It describes the noun. It doesn't describe a subject. It doesn't describe an adjective. It doesn't describe a verb. It doesn't describe an adverb. No, it describes only a noun. For example, Muhammad is happy. Who is happy? Muhammad. It's clear. Here we have an example. Okay, here we have an example. The boy from in Paris is my friend. It answers the question, which one exactly? Remember this question. If a clause answer the question, which one exactly, and give definition and describe it, the noun of course, so it's 100%, it's an adjective. It's an adjective clause. But here, let's talk about this one. The boy, which boy exactly? The boy from in Paris. So this is the description. This is the description. Here, is it a clause or not? I give you 3 seconds to decide if it's a clause or not. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not a clause. No. Why? Because here we have from, it's a preposition. In, it's a preposition. Paris, it's a name. We don't have here a subject, we don't have a verb, so it's not a clause. And if it's not a clause, you can say it's a noun, it's an adjective clause. Okay? One more thing to know about adjectives. So the first characteristic of adjectives, it describes, description. The second one, like noun clauses, it often starts with some relative pronouns like this. Who, which, whose, whom, that. You may say that noun clause also starts with the same, but as I said, the difference is that noun clause we can omit it, and replace it with only one noun, and the adjective that we cannot omit it, okay, and it describes. It's not a noun, but it's a description, and answer the question, which one exactly? Okay. But sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, please, Sometimes it does not. For example, here, I saw the boy. Which boy exactly? The boy who. Here it starts with who. The relative pronoun who. The boy, which one exactly? Who is wearing a red cap, driving his car. Okay. Which boy exactly? Who is wearing? So here we have the dependent clause, and it describes the boy. It describes the boy, the noun. Okay. It describes the noun. Describe what? The noun. Please. Adjective. Describe only noun. Okay. Noun, noun, noun. It describes the noun here, the boy, who is wearing a red cap. The same thing here, I saw the boy. Which boy? Wearing a red cap. Here it's an adjective clause, okay? But it doesn't contain a relative pronoun like who. Here we have who, but it's still an adjective clause because why? It answers the question why. No, sorry. It answers the question who exactly, which one exactly, exactly. Okay. So it answers the question which one exactly, and it gives the information and it describe what? Adjective, adverb. What it describes? It describes the noun boy. Okay. Please pay attention and be aware of this. Which boy? The driving, wearing a red cap is driving. Here we have I saw the boy driving his car is the independent clause because it can stand by itself. Okay, they are the same and they are both. So here we describes home. Here we describes home. I saw the boy who is wearing a red cap. We describing the boy with the red cap. Yes, guys, we are talking about this guy. Okay. Now let's move to some examples. To more examples to make it easier for you. Remember that it answers the question which one exactly. Never, never, ever, ever forget this one. It gives a description, of course. He loves eating food which is not good for his health. Give you five. I'll give you 5 seconds to answer to line where is to underline where is the noun the adjective clause. So time is up. He loves eating food which is not good for his health. Here we have the noun food. Which food exactly? The food which is not good for his health. So here we have the description. It starts with which, like noun clause, but it's not a clause. It's not a noun clause. Why? Because it answers the question which one exactly. The first one it answers the question which one exactly, and it describes. Second, it describes description, and the third, can we delete this? Can we delete it and replace it by a noun? He loves eating food, for example, chicken, sorry. No, we cannot, because it's meaningless, it's not logical, okay? So this is the point. He loves, here we have another example. He loves watched the performance, okay? Everyone watched the performance, didn't care about the performer who is not from the country where we are living because of his African ethnicity. I know, it's somehow, it's a bit, it doesn't matter because all we care about is the question which one exactly. Is there any description of a certain word here, a noun here? Everyone watched home. Performance didn't care. No, it's not a description. Didn't care about the performer. Okay, performer. Which performer exactly? Which performer? Which person exactly? Which performer exactly? The performer who is not from the country where we are living because of his. Here we must interrupt it because the only clause then adjective clause is this one. Okay, so it answers the question, which one exactly? Which performer? We are talking here about the performer who is not from the country where we are living. Yeah, I know it's it's long, but all we thinking about and we care about and we must put our attention and our focus is on the description. We don't care. For example, I will say they didn't care about the performer who is not from the country where we are living yesterday and add more information. But what we are focusing here and what we should care about is the description. We don't care about how long is it. Okay. Yeah. Now let's go to the adverb and or adverbial clause. In small duration, let's just make remind you. Noun clause, see it can replace it. Yeah, replace it. The first character we can replace it with one noun, and it starts with words. Some of them WH words. Okay, and this is the noun clause. We can replace it with noun, and it starts with WH. Adjective clause. Adjective, of course, they are all depend clauses. Adjective clause, of course, it also uses some WH with relative pronouns. Okay, and the difference is that we cannot replace it with a noun, but it answers with the question which one exactly. Okay. It answers the question which one exactly, and sorry, give description. Okay, it gives the description. This is in the summary. Now, adverb clause. Before talking about adverb clause, some of you I think don't know what do we mean by adverb. What is adverb? But we will go to this. But first, let's just take a look on this first characteristic. The adverb clause describe. Oh, describe. We said that adjective clause describe, but the adjective clause describes a noun. Adverb clause, no, it doesn't describe a noun. It describes verb, adjective, another adverb. Did we mention noun? No. Adjective is the only one describes a noun, but the adverb clause describes a verb, adjective, another adverb. Okay, and guys, don't worry about this. Just to make it easier for you and to make you in the line. Okay, to put you in the right path. But don't worry about this because it usually describes the verb. It usually describes the verb, and I will show you how to recognize it quickly. Whatever it describes, if it describes a verb, adjective, another adverb, we don't care. I will give you a certain way and a simple way to distinguish it, and don't care about those harsh rules. Is it describing a verb, an adjective, or an adverb? I don't care about this. So it acts exactly like an adverb. But the question is, what's an adverb? So for those who don't know what is an adverb, we have some main difference of verbs, and we are going to deal with them a little bit. For those who know what are the clauses, the types of let's see the types of clauses, but I recommend you to watch them because they will be quick and they are very important. So we have some types of adverbs here. We have six types, but we all care about is the questions. Those questions, please pay attention to those questions, okay? Because they are your key. Okay, we don't care about the names. Don't worry about them and don't memorize them. If you want, you cannot memorize them, and you are free. It's optional. But what we care here is about the questions. So the first one is adverb of manner. It answers the question how. I did it how? I did it quickly. Adverb of time, it answers the question when. I did it when? At 7 o'clock, for example, at 13:33, at evening, at the afternoon, before, after. Okay? It answers the question when. Adverb of place, it answers the question where, of course. It answers the question where. I put my laptop where? Here. I put it where? There. I put it where? Near. I put it where? Close to. I put it where? Above for example, the table. In the box. On, for example, on the room. Adverb of reason. Adverb of reason, it answers the question why. Okay, we find sometimes because, thus, here we have a comma, thus and hence. Okay, thus and hence, those are the adverbs of the reason. Adverb of frequency, it answers the question how many times you do something. For example, how many times you go to the gym? I go to the gym every day. I go to the park every morning. And I go to the example, I go to the school. I always go to the school. I usually eat for example, the couscous. Adverb. Now let's move to the adverb of degree. It answers the question how much or how many. For example, if I ask you how many times, no, not how many times. If we are talking about how many times, we are talking about adverb of frequency. How many of students you have in your class? If I ask a question, how many students you teach in the class? He'll say, I teach a lot of students, or he say, I teach some of students. So the key you should pay attention is so, dear friends. To make it easy for you, when a clause answer the previous, not previously, it's the previous mentioned questions. Which question would be previous question? Those questions: what, how, when, where, why, how many times, how much, how many. If answers this, the question, the previous question, then be sure and be certain that it's an adverb clause. Okay, this is the point. Now let's go to some examples. Ahmed takes his boats. Takes off his boats when he gets home. Here the clause is when he gets home. Okay, and it answers the question when. Ahmed, when he takes his boats. He takes his boats when he gets home. It describes the verb takes off. When he takes off, he takes the adjective. This is what we mean by it. The adverb, it describes the verb. Okay, it's easy, but it seems complicated. This is the point. So when he gets home, is the adverb clause. Why? Because it answers the question when. If you still remember, we have mentioned that if it answers the question when, it's an adverb clause. Next one, Muhammad ate quickly because he was in a hurry. Here we have quickly. Oh, quickly. It answers the question how. How he ate quickly. But this is just an adverb. Okay? It's an adverb, not an adverb clause, because it's only one word. Okay? The adverb clause is here because he was in a hurry. We can say, for example, we can put this and delete it. We can say Muhammad ate quickly. It's clear and it's independent clause. But if we say because he was in a hurry, you may ask, what is in a hurry? Okay? And so we say Muhammad ate quickly because he was in a hurry. Here we have, ladies and gentlemen, here we have the adverb clause. It answers the question why. I use to put my notebook where no one can touch it. I used to put my notebook where no one can touch it. So it's clear that here is with the dependent clause, and it answers the question where. Can we replace it with noun? No, so it's not noun clause. Is it answers the question which one exactly and give us more details? Does it give us details about a notebook? Does it give us the details about I? No. This gives us about the place. So it answers the question of where. So it's an adverb clause. I sat on the chair. You guys answer this. I sat on the chair. It's the past of the verb sit. I sat on the chair. Okay, you may say that on the chair is the clause. It's an adverb clause. Why? Because it's question where. I sit on the chair. But I'm sorry to say that it's not a clause. And if you said it's a clause, you must go and replay the video, okay, to understand more. Because here we don't have the subject verb. If we have subject and verb, we may say that it's an adverb clause. Okay, let's move to the next example. Okay, I like to visit Paris, where my sister lives, in April. Okay, here I'll give you 5 seconds. You can pause the video to answer it. Is it which clause is it? Is it first clause? So 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I like to visit Paris, where my sister lives in April. So the situation is like that. Let's imagine that we have Paris here. In this zone, we have Paris. I know that we have only one Paris, but let's imagine that we have 4 Parises, okay? Which Paris we are talking about here? I visited Paris. I may visit this Paris. I may visit this Paris, or this Paris, or this one. I don't know which one exactly. So please, can you define exactly which one exactly I visit? Okay, I will say I like to visit Paris, where my sister lives. Oh, well, I know now which Paris you're talking about. You're talking about this Paris, because my sister doesn't live here. No. My sister doesn't live here. No. My sister doesn't live here. No. My sister lives here. So we are talking about this Paris. So here, where my sister lives, give us more details and answer the question, which one exactly? So it's an adjective clause. And you may find those 2 commas sometimes not always. If you find those commas and what inside in those commas is a clause, and you are hesitating which one, and I'm not sure about which one. If you find those commas and what's come inside and what inside of them is a description, and a clause, so be sure. And sometimes it's or I can say it's you always, to some extent, it's an adjective clause. Okay, just to put in your mind. Here we have another one, and the last one. I like to visit where my sister lives. It's somehow the same example. I like to visit, asking where, the question is where. I like to visit where my sister lives. So here, this where my sister lives, it refers not to Paris, like in the first example. This example describe Paris. Here we have this one describes this expression describe, or this clause describe the Paris. But this clause refer to visit. Visit where? I visit where my sister lives. So this one, in this case, it's an adverb clause. Okay, it's an adverb clause. I hope you, ladies and gentlemen, understand. That's all for this lesson. Please don't forget to support my channel. If you benefit from the lesson, don't forget, please, support Lion English Lion channel. Thanks for the new subscribers. I have received some new subscribers, and thank you. And by the way, next time inshallah, we are going to deal with some functions of the noun clause functions. Yeah, noun clause. This lesson is just to know the difference between them, between noun clause, adverb clause, and adjective clause. And the next time, inshallah, I will show you, and I will give you the functions of the noun clauses. Noun clause, it can functions like a subject and an object, direct object, object of preposition, indirect object, and so on and so forth. So next time, inshallah, I will explain this. And thank you guys. Never give up. And please don't forget, support my channel. Assalamu alaikum.